be kind enough to have the compilation of case law that we had submitted?
Yes.
Volume 2 of the case law compilation that we had. Correspondent number 4.
Sir, we can't hear you.
Your voice is
Can't hear you.
post lunch should be greater.
That's lack of enough food.
Also, with the live streaming, unless your voice goes into the mic, there might be a problem for the audio quality.
My lords, has this volume 2, which is compilation by respondent number 4.
Yes.
Title is compilation of thread.
Compilation of thread. You want to read Sadiq Ali?
So, my lords, this is the Constitution bench in Rajendra Singh Ram.
Yes, last one.
It starts at 191
Yes, we've got
at page 230, 213.
Whoever has done the bookmarking has done it very well. We must thank the young juniors who have done this exercise.
Absolutely outstanding youngsters assisting us in this matter.
Otherwise, what happens to us? I know the chavez because when you people conclude arguments in the final hearings and we have to start dictating, then you have to start scrolling down, which is a big headache. I mean, when it's bookmarked, it takes you a second to go to that particular.
Your Lordship, be kind enough to have page 213.
213. Rana has how many judges?
5.
Something seriously wrong.
Mr. Cole, you had mentioned Sadiq Ali's judgment you'd like to refer to Rana and change the third one.
Manani Swami.
आपको platform है ना?
Kindly have placitum B on 213, which starts with, it is therefore not possible. That's para 5. The para 25 starts at page 212.
Yes, we got it.
It is therefore not possible to accede to the argument that under the 10th schedule of the Constitution, the Speaker has an independent power to decide that there has been a split or merger of a political party, as contemplated by paras 3 and 4 of the 10th schedule.
Sorry, I didn't get this.
I'm also
Are you reading
para 25.
Para 25 starts at page 212.
But it starts as in the context of the introduction.
Yes, that's right.
And yours like
I'm on page 213, placitum B.
it is therefore not possible.
It is therefore.
Yes.
My lords have that.
Yes.
It is therefore not possible to accede to the argument that under the 10th schedule of the Constitution, the Speaker has an independent power to decide that there has been a split or merger of a political party as contemplated by para 3 and 4 of the 10th schedule of the Constitution. The power to recognize a separate group in Parliament or Assembly may rest with the Speaker on the basis of the rules of the business of the House, but that is different from saying that the power is available to him under the 10th schedule to the Constitution, independent of a claim being determined by him that a member or a number of members had incurred disqualification by defection. To that extent, the decision of the Speaker in the case on hand cannot be considered to be in order in terms of 10th schedule of the Constitution. The Speaker has failed to decide the question he was called upon to decide by postponing a decision thereon. There is therefore some merit in the contention of the Learned Counsel for BSP that the order of the Speaker may not enjoy the full immunity in terms of 6.1 of the 10th schedule of the Constitution, and that even if it did, the power of judicial review recognized by the court in Teho to Holo on is sufficient to warrant interference with the order in question. In a sense, this aspect may not be of great importance in this case, since going by the stand adopted on behalf of 37 MLAs, the Speaker was justified in keeping the petition seeking disqualification of 13 MLAs pending, even while he proceeded to accept a case of split in BSP. The question really is whether the Speaker was justified in doing so. As we have indicated above, the whole proceeding under the 10th schedule to the Constitution is initiated or gets initiated as part of disqualification of a member of the House. The disqualification is by way of defection. The rules prescribed by various legislatures, including the UP legislature, contemplate the making of an application to the Speaker when there is a complaint that some member or members have voluntarily given up his membership or their membership in the party. It is only then that in terms of 10th schedule, the Speaker is called upon to decide the question of disqualification raised before him in the context of para 6 of the 10th schedule. Independent of a claim that someone has to be disqualified, the scheme of the 10th schedule or the rule made under do not contemplate the Speaker embarking upon an independent inquiry as to whether there has been a split in a political party or there has been a move.
Yes.
So, my lord, the Constitution bench of this court squarely says on this point that look at it from the lens of a legislature party, the split, the merger, but political party, what happened? While deciding disqualification under the 10th schedule, don't embark on an inquiry as far as the political party is concerned, which is not your domain or jurisdiction. And it was in this context, my lord, as I respectfully submitted, and on which great emphasis is laid by the other side, that it said that disqualification is ex post facto. Because on the date the speaker ought to have decided the disqualification, because 13 MLAs had gone with the Samajwadi Party to support another government. Instead of doing that, the speaker went on to decide on a subsequent event where 24 MLAs had joined the 13 MLAs and said there's a split in the party and supported that decision. Now, if those people had been disqualified earlier on a day, that split would not have occurred. Now, with great respect, how can that ex post facto used in that context be meant to say that if ultimately you're disqualified from that day, you cannot approach the election commission? I put their case at the highest, even if I'm disqualified with an ex post facto application. My right to go to EC as a primary member of the party is still not taken away.
Yes.
And secondly, in the present matter, as on date, and all the issues are pending, whether I have voluntarily given up my membership, whether I have defied the whip of the party. Now, which whip will be considered? I'll show the Maharashtra Assembly rules. The Maharashtra Assembly rules provide for a leader of the legislature party, and a member is the member of the legislative assembly. It is the leader of the political party who writes to the speaker and points out who is the leader, what are the designations of various MLAs, etc. Here, you claim someone to be the whip, we claim someone else to be the whip in the matter. Your whole case is that I have defied the whip, whereas our case is I have not defied the whip. The person that you appointed was appointed by a handful of MLAs. Whereas as we are concerned today, the majority has removed it who was appointed earlier. That is our case. Now, these are all issues, right or wrong, pending before the speaker, and the speaker will take a call. And in terms of clause 6 of the 10th schedule, his decision in this respect will be final.
All right.
So,
Anything else?
yes. So, madam, 2 more judgments. Would you?
What are you citing them on?
Now,
Which is the next one?
The second one that I am citing to your lordships is Palana Swami.
What page?
Page 139 of the same compilation. At page 154.
This is the third last judgment.
Sorry.
Yes, paragraph 25 and 26. Hello, sir, paragraph 25 would be 154.
Yes.
Yes.
The Election Commission in the past has exercised plenary powers under para 18 for issuing interim directions regarding allocation of common symbols to two factions when the dispute under symbols order was still pending before it. It was argued that the Election Commission cannot do so once it had finally decided the dispute. There is no difficulty in agreeing with the proposition that once the dispute has been finally decided by ECI, the question of invoking powers of para 18 by ECI would not arise. However, if the dispute is pending inquiry before ECI or the final decision of ECI is sub judice in the proceeding before the Constitutional Court, providing for an equitable arrangement in the interest of free and fair elections and provide equal level playing field to all concerned would be a just and fair arrangement. Assuming that the provisions of the symbols order do not predicate the nature of directions that may have to be issued by ECI, nothing prevents ECI to exercise its expansive and plenitude of plenary powers under Article 324 of the Constitution of India to deal with a situation such as the present one for ensuring conduct of free and fair elections. The purpose I am citing it, my lords, is that apart from clause 15 and 18, which adequately deal with the situation at hand, presuming the symbols order did not contain a provision, the Supreme Court says that even if a provision of the symbols order does not predicate or deals with a particular situation, the expansive powers, the attitude of powers given, can deal with situation under Article 324 of the Constitution.
Right.
Now, my lords, the third judgment for your lordship's kind consideration is Sadiq Ali. Please have Sadiq Ali. Page 1, my lords. At page 11. Para 20 on page 11.
1 minute.
Yes.
Which para?
20.
Para 20. That's 4 paras I need to read. Para 20. Starts with perusal of different paragraphs.
Yes.
Yes.
May I? Perusal of the different paragraphs of the symbols order makes it manifest that they provide, as is made clear by its preamble, for specification, reservation, choice, and allotment of symbols at elections in parliamentary and assembly constituencies, as well as for the recognition of political parties in relation thereto, and for matters connected therewith. One such matter is the decision of a dispute when two rival sections of groups of a recognized political party claim to be that party for the purpose of the symbols order. Para 15 provides for the machinery as well as the manner of resolving such a dispute. Now, kindly have para 22 on the next page. My lords, that para 22?
Yes.
The next page. Let us now go back to paragraph 15. The occasion for making an order under this paragraph arises when the Commission is satisfied on the information in its possession that there are rival sections of groups of a recognized political party, each of whom claims to be that party. The Commission in such an event decides the matter after taking into account all available facts and circumstances of the case and hearing such representatives of the sections or groups and other persons as desired to be heard. And now kindly have the next paragraph, that is paragraph 23. Somewhere in the middle, my lord, which starts with the Commission in circumstances had to decide the matter.
Yes.
The Commission in the circumstances had to decide the matter under paragraph 15, and we find nothing objectionable in communication dated so and so, sent to two rival parties on its behalf, wherein it was stated that the dispute appears to have arisen in which two of the groups in the recognized political party known as Indian National Congress for the purpose of symbols order. Then kindly have para 25 and 26. These are important. Para 25, page 14.
Yes.
Para 25, somewhere in the middle says for determining as to who are members of AICC. For determining as to who are members of AICC and delegates, the Commission accepted those persons as members of AICC and delegates who held that position in the earlier session of the Congress at Faridabad before the split. In view of the removal and expulsion which followed in the wake of the split in the Congress, the Commission, in our opinion, adopted proper approach for determining as to who should be taken to be members of the AICC or delegates, more so when, in the opinion of the Commission, the validity of those removals and expulsions was open to question. The figures found by the Commission of the members of the two houses of Parliament and of the state legislatures, as well as those of AIC members and delegates who supported Congress J, have not been shown to us to be incorrect. In view of those figures, it can hardly be disputed that substantial majority of the members of the Congress in both its legislative wing as well as organizational wing, supported Congress J. As Congress J is a democratic organization, the test of majority and numerical strength, in our opinion, was very valuable and relevant test. Whatever might be the position in another system of government or organization, numbers have a relevance and importance in a democratic setup of government or political setup, and it's neither possible nor permissible to lose sight of them. Indeed, in view of the majority, which in the final analysis proves decisive in a democratic setup. And now kindly have, my lords, paragraph 35 on page 17. Paragraph 35, my lords, and the latter half starts on the right side with the commission in resolving this dispute.
Yes.
The commission in resolving this dispute does not decide as to which group represents the party, but which group is that party. If it were a question of representation, even a small group, according to the constitution of the organization, may be entitled to represent the party. Where, however, the question arises as to which of the rival groups is the party, the question assumes great competition, and the numerical strength of each group becomes important and relevant factor. It cannot be gainsaid that in deciding which group is the party, commission has to decide as to which group substantially constitutes the party. And now kindly have paragraph 40, which starts at page 18. Kindly turn to page 19, my lords, because I'm skipping through the other parts since there's time. Please have para 40 on page 18, but kindly come to para 40, which continues on page 19. And about somewhere in the middle on the right-hand side, it starts with, if on the other hand, a dispute arises between two rival groups. And my lords have got that. If, on the other hand, a dispute arises between two rival groups or allotment of a symbol of a political party on the ground that each group professes to be that party, the machinery and the manner of resolving such a dispute is given in paragraph 15. Paragraph 15 is intended to effectuate and subserve the main purpose and objects of symbols order. The paragraph is designed to ensure that because of a dispute having arisen in a political party between two or more groups, the entire scheme of the symbols order relating to the allotment of a symbol reserved for the political party is not set at naught. The fact that the power for the settlement of such a dispute has been vested in the commission would not constitute a valid ground for assailing the wiles of and striking down paragraph 15. The commission is an authority created by the constitution and according to article 324, the superintendence, direction and control of electoral rolls for and conduct of elections to parliament.
Yes, Mr.
Yes. So, my lords, my respectful submission is that Sadiq Ali in detail deals and says any dispute within the party, the entire machinery and jurisdiction is vested in the Election Commission of India. And one more argument flows from paragraph 25 and 26 is this, my lords, that they say that while determining majority, the date before when the dispute arose will be taken as the date, because after that there is a conflict. Now here, barely for you to get up and say you're disqualified, then they stand disqualified. They've given up voluntarily, the membership is of no consequence.
Right, Mr.
Right. Now, my lords, just two more judgments and I'm done. Which will not, I'll just get the citations. I will not trouble your lordships with those judgments. The one is All Party Hill Leaders Conference versus W.A. Sangma, 1977, Volume 4, Volume 4, SCC 161.
That's part of your compilation.
I'm very grateful. Paragraph 37, 41, and 42. And my lord, what they specifically say is that a fraction of the judicial power of the state has been vested in the Election Commission of India. A complete machinery has been provided. And the Election Commission of India has the exclusive jurisdiction to decide all that it has been provided for, taking it away from the courts. That is the purpose. And lastly, my lords, is Kanhaiya Kumar. Kanhaiya Lal Kumar versus R.K. Trivedi, 1985, Volume 4, SCC 628, paragraphs 10 and 13, effectively, my lords, on the point that even after the deletion of clause 3, even after the introduction of the 10th schedule, my lords, discussion on Sadiq Ali, the other provisions of the 10th schedule, the symbols order was all discussed. And nowhere has ever the Supreme Court ever said or taken a view that with the coming in of the 10th schedule, the symbols order gets diluted in any manner whatsoever, or the jurisdiction of the symbols order gets diluted with the introduction of the 10th schedule. That's a judgment I'm giving for your lordship's kind consideration. Now, lastly, my lords, kindly just have the provisions, just the provisions for a minute of the Constitution. Three provisions I just would request your lordships to see. First, clause 2 of the 10th schedule. My lords have that. Subject to the provisions of 3 paragraph 4 and 5, a member of the House belonging to any political party shall be disqualified from being a member of the House if he has voluntarily gives up his membership of such political party, or if he votes or abstains from voting in such House contrary to any direction issued by the political party to which he belongs, or by any reason or authority authorized by it in this behalf, without obtaining in either case the prior permission of such political party, person or authority, and such voting or abstention has not been condoned by such political party, person or authority within 15 days from the date of such voting or abstention. Now, kindly have, my lords, has the deleted portion of clause 3 which used to exist. My lords, has that as part of the page 15 of our compilation. Page 115 of our compilation.
Yes.
Volume 1. Where also,
Yes.
only reason I am citing it is, my lords, that and 4 both are political party and 1/3 of the members of the legislature party was used in 3. And similarly, as my lords pointed out in 4, the latter part of 4(2) has 2/3 of the members of the legislature party. So to pick up political party in isolation in 3 and say that look, it says political party, and that has to be decided. No, a constitution bench says that has to be seen from the lens of a legislature party. That is to be done in this matter. Now, my lord, lastly, the Maharashtra Assembly rules, just have them for a minute, because just for the completion of page 90 of our compilation, page 99, volume 1.
10. Got it.
In the same.
Two F, leader in relation to a legislature party, the party whose by it, party chosen by it as its leader, and includes any other member of the party authorized by the party to act in the absence of the leader as or discharge the function of the leader of the party for the purpose of these rules. Then kindly have 2G. Member means a member of the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly. Then rule 3.1 on the next page, 3.1 and 3.4, page 100. The leader of each legislature party, other than the legislature party consisting of only one member, shall within so and so, and kindly have A, statement in writing containing names of members of some legislature party together with other particulars regarding such members as in the form 1, and names of designations of members of such party who have been authorized by it for communicating with speaker for purposes of the rules. And then rule 3 subclause 4, when on page 102. Whenever any change takes place in the information furnished by the leader of the legislature party under sub-rule 1 or by a member under sub-rule 2, he shall, as soon as may be thereafter, and in any case within 30 days from the date on which such a change has taken place, or within such period as the speaker may, for sufficient cause allowed, furnish in writing information to the speaker with respect to such change. So the speaker always interacts with leader. Leader is the member of the house, and he gives all details of who's the whip, who's not the whip. Now, if there's a change of whip, the speaker will ask the leader. He's not going to go to the political party and conduct a vote who's the whip there or not. That is the purpose of this. And all parties understood it to be the same way, because whether we issued our official communications or they issued their official communication, they're all on the letterhead of the legislature party to say that the whip has been appointed. So to say, I'm very grateful, my lord, for it's very kind of them.
Yes, Mr. Mahendra.
Implemented very briefly. The two relevant aspects of Lordship may kindly notice. And my lord, since the time is short, I'm not going contention by contention and my lord, prima facie case balance of convenience. We just supplement what my learned friend has largely asked. Two relevant aspects, my lord, that the Shiv Sena had a pre-poll alliance with the political party of pre-poll alliance. I'm only leaving it at that, not making any submission as of today. There is a resignation by the then Chief Minister on the floor of before the test on 29th of June 2020. And that, Lord, in our respective submission from our side, was a conclusive evidence of losing the confidence of the House in it, and he chose to resign. Extremely relevant facts for even for prima facie case to be kept in mind, a pre-poll alliance and resignation by the then Honorable Chief Minister before the floor test is taken. Third, the no confidence in the Deputy Speaker, which came into existence in writing, expression whereof it came into existence in writing on 21st of June 2022. Is achieved, the test thereof is achieved on the touchstone of Article 179C, because my lord, a speaker can only exercise his function and jurisdiction if there is no lack of confidence in that office. If there is a lack of confidence in that office, he cannot proceed further, because that is the requirement of 179C of continuous existence of confidence in that office. And my lord, the floor test achieves both the purposes. The confidence in the leader of the House as the Chief Minister and the government, and the confidence in the office of the Speaker also simultaneously. So two orders were passed by your Lordship, Lord. The first order on 27th of June 2022, giving time of 2 weeks to file reply to the show cause notice issued by the Deputy Speaker, was nothing but compliance with the principles of natural justice, because 2-day notice was given when the requirement under the rules is at least 7 days notice. Lordship may just make a note. I'm only on the broader submission and prima facie case. What is the nature and scope of the order which your Lordship passed? So, my lord, on 21st of June, there is lack of confidence in the Deputy Speaker. Deputy Speaker has issued a show cause notice giving 2 days when the rules require minimum of 7 days. A writ petition is filed, and in the writ petition, your Lordship passed an order on 27th of July by just seeking compliance with the principles of natural justice, not restricting any authority not to discharge. That's, my lord, utmost respect, my lord. A confusion is sought to be created, as in the order of 27th of July, some kind of a curtailment of jurisdiction of any authority. Kindly have a look. I'm not reading, my lord. Kindly have a look at the second last paragraph of the 27th of June order, my lord. I'm sorry, 27th of June order, which only makes available period of 2 weeks time to respond to the show cause notice given by the Deputy Speaker. Number 4, my lord, the non-existent assumption on the part of the other side, no matter what reply you could have given, you are to be treated as disqualified on the issuance of notice itself. The lack of confidence in the office of the Deputy Speaker further gets strengthened by such kind of a contention that no matter what your reply could have been, you were deemed to be disqualified the day when they are representing your Lordship should be treated as disqualified. Now, my lord, kindly come to the document in volume 1 at page 82, my lord, which are the 1968 symbol order. Only 2 submissions on that. My lord, the political party is not defined in the 10th schedule. Political party is defined in the 1968 order, your Lordship has seen. But before that, my lord, differences and dissent, which your Lordships have observed on so many times, is a part of democracy in every sphere. Differences and dissent is also an essential part of intra-party democracy. the recognition, acknowledgement, and incorporation of that intra-party democracy, my lord, and differences and dissent is, my lord, in clause 15 of the order. Kindly have a look before I go to that. Page 82, my lord, of this document, which is the symbol order. Volume 1, my lord, of the documents on the filed by R4. The third paragraph, Lord, whereas it is necessary and expedient to provide. And last line, Lord, recognition of political parties in relation thereto and matters connected therewith. So free, a very important, significant aspect of that is recognize political parties and the matters in connection therewith. Now kindly come to the next page. Subclause X, political party. And political party defined here because of the plenary jurisdiction to be conferred upon the Election Commission of India on the recognition and incorporation of the principle of intra-party democracy, clause 15. Number of political party means an association or body of individual citizens of India registered with the Commission as a political party under Section 29 of the Representation of People Act. Now, my lord, various powers have been conferred upon the Election Commission starting from clause 14. Kindly have a look at that, my lord, page 91.
Clause 14.
Page 91, clause 14. Please see, my lord, the width and the plenary jurisdiction of the Election Commission, and it is all under 324 for conduct of free and fair election, where dissent differences even within the political party in the hallmark. Kindly have a look at that, clause 14. Power of commission to issue instructions to unrecognized political parties. So that also is the concern of the constitution makers and then culminating into 1968 order, an important feature. Even a non-recognized, unregistered political party. 15, my lord, I would like to read, but before that, kindly have 16. So when, my lord, the split and merger, my lord, there are two different clauses in clause 7, we deal with split and merger is 4. That split and merger was originally a part of 15. And my lord also dealt with in clause 16. Kindly have a look at clause 16. Power of commission in case of amalgamation of two or more political parties. And then 16A, power of commission to suspend or withdraw recognition of a recognized political party. So, my lord, absolutely plenary jurisdiction. Now, kindly permit me to read 15 once again, my lord, at the cost of repetition. Power of commission in relation to splinter groups or rival sections of a recognized political party. When the commission is satisfied, and kindly see, my lord, it can be on its own motor knowledge of the commission itself. It can come on an application because the word used are on information in its possession. It can come from any source. It is only signify the importance of this aspect for the free and fair conduct of election. In possession that there are rival sections or groups of a recognized political party, each of whom claims to be that party. I pause here for a moment. As my other friend pointed out, my lord, in clause 3 we stand withdrawn from the 10th schedule. On clause 4 we still continues to remain there. The concern is only with regard to number in the legislative party. It has nothing to do with the political party. Clause 21A and 21B that you are defining the directions of a political party or you have voluntarily given up the political party can apply, my lord, without the involvement of election commission if there is no cloud on who the political party is. The moment the question arises, who is the leader or who is the political party, as the surgically says, you travel to 15 of the 68 order, total exclusive jurisdiction of the Election Commission of India. So kindly see 15, my lord, which I just complete and then go straight to the 10th schedule. The commission may, after taking into account all the available facts and the circumstances of the case, and hearing such a representative of the sections or groups and other persons as desired to be heard, kindly mark the next word, my lord. Decide. So, for the purposes of 21A, political party, there is a question mark, the decision has to come from here, not from the office holder. Decide.
The issue is not so much whether the election commission has the power or not. What they argue is the batting order, which should be decided first. But the question is, would that arise in a context where the channels are completely different and the process and the method and authorities are all different? But are there any cases where the issue relating to anti-defection as well as matters relating to party determination have been commonly taken up, not episodically, but at the same time?
Lord, I'll just check up, I'll confirm it, but I'll come back to your lordship.
Flagging this.
My lord, please permit, I have understood, my lord, I'll see you. My lord, I'm coming to your lordships are putting it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Lord, your lordships are putting it to me that in which order these two issues to be decided, because let us assume that the two issues does arise, that who is the leader of the party and whether that incident of disqualification has taken place or not. If these two issues are to be decided, it must be decided first. That's what your lordships are wanting to know. My lord, my respectful submission is this. I will go to straight away to 1A and to 1B of the 10th schedule in a moment. My lord, what I was reading here is the decision who is the political party, who is the leadership, who has to give direction on behalf of the party, in the name of the party. That decision can only come from 15. Now, I'm not only see the 10 sheet, but before that, kindly come to page 8 and page 10 of this compilation one. Because if this is the position, my lord, taken on oath before this honorable court, where the writ petitions are filed on daily basis on every event taking place, after this position is taken up by the other side before this honorable court, ground D, my lord, I want to read only 4 lines at ground, next page, page 10, para 36. Then, my lord, therefore, a contradictory position by filing a writ petition would not have been agitated, and that is the reason why no writ petition for the election commission jurisdiction or election commission proceeding is not filed.
Ground D where?
Ground D at page 8.
And this is ground
Well, that pages are at the bottom. On the top, there is some page 38, but the running page of this compilation is page 8 and page 10.
This ground D, Mr. Maninder saying, this ground
Isn't the writ
is
petition?
part of the writ petition.
Writ petition filed by them.
There are.
No, my lord, your lordship must know, my lord, that on every event taking place after the floor test, they were filing writ petition. They have taken this position in this writ petition where there is no question on jurisdiction or proceeding further of the election commission. And they have taken this position. Kindly permit me, the last 5 lines in para D. Who is the Shiv Sena? Who is the Shiv Sena? The moment this question comes, my lord, it is also our common case. Exclusive jurisdiction is of the Election Commission of India. And they said so. And once they said so, my lord, there was no occasion for them to file any substantive writ petition questioning that position, because they can't live with the inherent contradiction in their stand. Now, my lord, if that is the position, will your lordship permit an interim application to be filed in some other writ petition? Kindly see who is the Shiv Sena. That is the domain of Election Commission. Admittedly, recognition of Shiv Sena and leadership by so and so has been endorsed by the Election Commission, and there is no dispute. Now, kindly see para 36, page 10, next page. This is a part of the rejoinder, para 36. After our stand was filed to this writ petition, they filed a rejoinder. So, original position is The moment question arises, who's Shiv Sena? Election Commission. Kindly see 36, third line. If the delinquents were so keen on a change in party leadership, they ought to have approached the election commission in the first place. So what did I came for? I came for extension of time, which is in violation of the rule only 2 days, and I asked for 2 weeks. 2 weeks is granted by your lordship. Compliance of natural justice. That has nothing to do with either the office of the Speaker or the Election Commission of India.
All right, Mr. Maninder. Yes.
Let us hear
Only
the
2 minutes. Kindly come to 2. Kindly come to 2, but the 10 schedule. 10 schedule. Only about 2 minutes and I am done. All judgments are cited. I have nothing for this hearing. Kindly come to 2-1. There is no political.
Mr. Maninder Singh, it is read and re-read and re-read.
Only 1 minute I will take. Your lordship.
Otherwise, we will have to hear Mr.
I will just clear it in 1 minute. 2-1A. 2-1A and 2-1B. The last word of political party and in the contrast in clause 3.2 which is deleted and clause 4.2 of the merger and the split, it's legislative party. Now in this, who is the political party and who can issue validly in law direction to the political party? Unless that question gets decided, there is no ambiguity in that regard. Speaker has no jurisdiction. And that is why the order is that once such question arises, EC will decide first. And that is their petition. Ground D and para 36 in rejoinder. Grateful, Malad, I am in your line.
Yes, we did, Nani.
Very brief. I realize your lordships are very keen to hear a detached voice rather than partisan interest. So I'll just state my proposition. My learned friends have dealt comprehensively with the distinct jurisdictions of the Speaker and the Election Commission. One decides disqualification of MLAs in the House. The EC decides intra-party disputes. Now, the question of disqualification, and what instance I hope to answer my Lord Narasimha's query. The question of disqualification under the 10th schedule is governed by a mandatory procedure. Particularly, there has to be a notice, a hearing, rules of natural justice, and a reasoned order. Although there is no concept of potential or deemed disqualification, it has to be actual, not a deemed fictional one. The entire case of the other side, trying to link disqualification with intra-party disputes, is based on a disqualification which has never happened. There is no such question of a deemed disqualification. That fiction is the fiction of the other side. Thirdly, allied to this question is that the deputy speaker, in this case, there was no speaker because the then speaker had resigned since 5th February 2021. But the deputy speaker in this case was disqualified from embarking upon the adjudication procedure because it had been brought to his notice that he had lost the confidence of the majority in the House for his position as deputy speaker. Now, my lord, this is not just Navam Varia's case. This is actually a mandate that when your own position as deputy speaker, i.e., the adjudicator of disqualification, is under question, then it is not just Navam Varia, they amplified it. But it's Article 181 of the Constitution's mandate. And I'm not going to read it out. Your Lordship will just note that Article 181 says this, that when the Speaker of the Deputy Speakers, a majority is itself question, he must desist from the adjudication process. Well, it's not just Navam Varia, which is one of the questions of law propounded. Navam Varia does say so. And we're having a second look at it, but also Article 181. Then we've got two more propositions.
Yes.
any link, in my respectful submission at the outset, the distinctive jurisdictions of the Speaker and the Election Commissioner, is determinative of this matter. That's almost conclusive. But my lord, any possible link between disqualification and the powers of the Election Commission to deal with inter-party disputes has been snapped by the very important event of the Chief Minister resigning on the 29th of July 2022. On that night he resigned. Sorry, 29th July. June. Sorry, June. 29th June. I'm so sorry. 29th June. Now, my lord, when that happened, a government fell. Nothing that happened thereafter, after he resigned, was a consequence of what happened previously. When the Chief Minister resigned, what kicked in was a process which was obligatory on the governor of the state. The governor had to then decide whether he could find a stable majority, which in turn necessitated discovering that person who commanded a majority of the House, and that person could therefore offer a stable government. That the governor proceeded to do. And because this is the mandate of Rameshwar Daya of 2007, I'll give us the citation. Rameshwar Prasad. In that judgment, the court said, when the governor is setting about the task, and it's paragraph 161 in particular, what you just know, when he is setting about the task, his constitutional obligation to form a stable majority, he has not to be deterred by any questions of potential disqualification. So the governor did that, and a new government came into existence. Now, my lord, when a new government comes into existence, a stable government, one more article kicks in, and that is Article 178. Please see that.
To give the citation of Rameshwar Prasad.
Yes. 2006 to SEC page 1. Legislative Assembly of a state shall, as soon as may be, choose 2 members of the Assembly to be respectively Speaker and Deputy Speaker thereof, and so often as the office of Speaker or Deputy Speaker becomes vacant, the Assembly shall choose another member. Now, on the new government being formed, an election was held for a new Speaker. This was the mandate of 178. A new Speaker now has taken, and he took office after a vote. They participated in that vote and they lost. There is now a new Speaker. Any questions of disqualification, and my lord, the Deputy Speaker only performs the task of the Speaker when the Speaker is not there. Once you have a Speaker, any question of disqualification now goes to the Speaker. There is no need of disqualification, and they want to run away from the question of actual disqualification because the new Speaker has come. So, in short, my lord, I will play.
Thank you, Mr. Datar.
Just one question of Justice Rajaswa. There is a judgment of the division bench, a recent judgment of the division bench, which goes into this between 10th schedule and the Election Commission. It's a division bench of the Kerala High Court.
What is the citation?
Yes. Okay. It's in the compilation. It's 2021 4 KLT SN 33, page 51. But it's an I compilation and it's judgment number 7 in our compilation of them. Particularly paragraph 76, the last paragraph, it's the one case which decides both the issues. It's the first case I've seen where both the disqualification as well as the inter-party dispute was concerned, and the impact of each.
Mr. Solicitor, you want to?
Sir, only 5 minutes because I appear for the governor. Therefore, my role is different. In my role, I have already played, and if required, I may play. But only question, your lordships, in the today's hearing required to answer is this. But when Article 324 was framed, just giving a little background, and 5 minutes is broadly outer. When 324 was framed, so there is a beautiful discussion which I will not read, I will pass it on, where Dr. Ambedkar examined what was the purpose of 320. And one of the main purpose was that certain political questions may arise as against the constitutional questions. And those political questions, there has to be an authority who, apart from conducting election, will also decide. And that is the election commission. Your lordships would also not possibly be able to go into the political thicket in case of president rule, etc., in a different fact situation which is not arising. The only question, my lord, which needs answer for the today's limited hearing is, can your lordships take a call whether this faction is right or another faction is right? That answer, my lord, will decide today's hearing. Answer in my respectful submission, no. This is essentially a political question. There are rules framed by the Election Commission of India as to how that question is to be gone into and decided. Because this is not for the first time that such a situation has arisen. That within the party, two factions claim that I am the original party. Somebody will have to go into that question. And that somebody, under the scheme of the Constitution, is only the election. Third question, whether both would be overlapping. In other words, suppose the question of disqualification is held against the client of Mr. Kaul and Maninder Singh, would it have any impact on the exercise to be undertaken by the Election Commission? The answer is no. Suppose the Election Commission takes the call that this faction is the correct faction, represents the original political party. Would that have any impact on the decision to be taken by the speaker? The answer will be no, because your lordships are assisted in both spheres. Yes. Here the speaker will decide that whether they voluntarily gave up membership, etc. They would argue that we are within the party, but within the party there is a freedom of speech and expression which we were exercising. That is for the speaker to decide. But even as disqualified MLAs, they would still continue to be members of the political party because there is no disqualification from membership. So the Election Commission is merely deciding which group represents the original party. So, right now, for the limited purpose, my respectful submission is that let the Election Commission discharge its duties.
Thank you, Mr. Datta. Mr. Datta?
My submission already are that the functioning of the Election Commission is completely different and independent from the role of the Speaker in the scope of the 10th schedule. In fact, Lordship sees the 10th schedule. The heading refers to C Articles 102 and 191. Let's first go to that. Lordship just takes 10th schedule. This Articles 102.2 and 191.2.
Yes.
And since we are referring to a state assembly, I will confine myself to Article 191. So, Lordship, I want to show the constitutional provisions and the statutory provisions which show that the Election Commission's role under the Representation of People Act 1951 is completely independent and completely different from what happens in the 10th schedule. If your Lordship now comes to 191 of the Constitution, Lordship will note, along with the insertion of the 10th schedule by the 52nd Amendment, they also inserted Article 102.2 and 191.2. And if a Lordship sees 191.2, a person shall be disqualified from being a member of the Legislative Assembly or Legislative Council of a state if he is so disqualified under the 10th schedule. Now, please come to 191.1a. The Lordship kindly sees, person shall be disqualified from being chosen and for being a member. So, my Lord, there are two types of disqualifications. A threshold disqualification, where you can't even become a member.
And during the
second, during. But in the company law, they use elegantly. They say disqualification and vacation. You become a director, then you vacate the office. So when we say disqualification for being, it actually means disqualification from continuing as a member of the House. Now, Lordship will just see A, if he holds any office of profit, B, if he's of unsound mind, C, if he's an undischarged insolvent, and D, if he's not a citizen of India and has voluntarily acquired citizenships, etc. And E, if he's so disqualified under any law by or any law made by Parliament. The Lordship will find that there are 4 constitutional disqualifications, which is A, B, C, D. The 5th constitutional disqualification is 192 to 191(2). And if your Lordship sees what is 191(1)(e), if he is so disqualified or under any law made by Parliament, Lordship has to look at the Representation of People Act 1951. But I will be basically referring to the Constitution and the Representation of People Act, so Lordship will just keep these bare accents. Now, if Lordship just sees the index, the table of contents of the Act, of the Representation of People Act 1951. My Lord will find that as far as the Representation of People Act is concerned, please see the table of contents, the index will give you also the architecture of the Act. Chapter 1 and 2 talk of qualifications. And my Lord will kindly notice that chapter 3 and 4 deal with disqualification. Yeah, it's a very small act.
I just, in an order yesterday, we said 50. I just told him I had a recollection that I did 50.
In fact, the statement office and reason say that 50 Act is very short, so we have to expand it further.
Yes.
So, Lordship will kindly come to chapter 3, just the headings. Definition, disqualification for conviction, disqualification ground of corrupt practices, disqualification, etc., etc. And chapter 4 is disqualification for voting, where you are a member but you can't vote. Now, what I'm submitting is,
yes,
the Parliament and the Constitution has consistently made the difference between what are disqualifications under the Constitution and what are disqualifications. As far as the Representative People Act is concerned, the authority to decide is the Election Commission. Actually, I'll come to 191. The President will decide, but he will take the opinion of the Election Commission. If your Lordship now, so the point I'm making is, the disqualification given in the Representation of People Act 1951 is a completely different thing. The role of the Election Commission, being a constitutional body, is clearly demarcated, and it is neither hedged nor restricted by the 10th schedule in any manner. If your Lordship now comes back to 191, the next section 192, Article 192.
yes.
If any question arises, 192. And Lord, this is equal to 103. Lord, this makes a note. Parallel provision Parliament is 113. If any question arises as to whether a member of a house of a legislature of a state has become subject to any of the disqualifications mentioned in clause 1 of Article 191, the question shall be referred to the governor and his decision shall be final. 2. If before giving any decision on any such question, the governor shall obtain the opinion of the Election Commission and shall act according to such opinion. So, disqualifications in clause 1, there are constitutional disqualifications plus under the Act. These are decided by the governor, but he will take the opinion of the Election Commission. Now, yeah, and Lordship will kindly note the governor shall obtain the opinion of the Election Commission. So he has to. So the Act very clearly demarcates the role of the Election Commission as quite distinct, separate,
and the parameters are prescribed. Now let's go to the 10th schedule. Lordship will first see para 2C is original political party. Original political party. But if my Lord sees the definition in the Representation of People Act 2F, my learned friend, I think somebody referred to the room, but if your Lordship goes to the Act itself, the Representation of People Act under 2F,
Political party.
Political party means a political party which is, once again, this opens into the 50 Act.
Mr. Maninder Singh referred to that.
Okay. He referred to the rule.
To the rule. Identical.
Identical.
Simple order.
Yes, I think in the simple order it's 2H and here it is 2F. But the point I'm making is the purpose.
2H.
Yeah, 2H in the rules, 2F in the
2F corresponds to 2H.
Now, it talks of political party means an association or body of individual citizens of India registered with the Election Commission as a political party under Section 29 capital A. And just see 29 capital A for a minute. Registration with the Election Commission of associations and bodies as political parties. So, Lordship will see, my Lord, it's not necessary to be a society or a trust. It can just be what we call an income tax, an AOP, or a body of individuals. The association of body of individual citizens, calling itself a political party and intending to avail itself of the provisions of this part, shall make an application to the Election Commission for its registration as a political party. Now, my Lord, my humble submission is the need to call, when you talk of original political party, that means there is something which is original and something which has come later. That must be because of the provisions of para 3, where a group of people could split and form a separate party. So that could perhaps be the reason why they use the word original political party, which means the political party contemplated and registered under Section 29A. That could be the original political party. And para 3, where they say that if more than 1/3 people split, they could sit as a separate member. And in fact, the 91st Amendment says that this bulk defection is causing harm, and therefore they decided to do away with para 3 completely. So my submission is original political party must be understood to be, my humble opinion, the 2F read with 29A party. That is the party which is registered with the for the purpose of anti-defection. They said that even if more than 1/3 members go, it will not amount to defection. That has been done away with. So now basically original political party will now be relevant only in the context of merger, which I will come to later. But for the purpose of us, that's the meaning of original political party. Now, what is legislature party? Legislature party means, the Lordship sees the Constitution. Legislature party in relation to member of a house belonging to any political party in accordance with provisions of paragraph 2 or paragraph 4 means the group consisting of all the members of that house for the time being belonging to that political party in accordance with provisions. Therefore, if the political party is a larger set, then the legislature party is a subset of members of that political party who are also being elected and now form part of the house. It is quite possible that you can have a political party with no legislature party. It's not that every political party has MLAs and MPs. So, legislature party is a subset of the original party. That is, every legislature member, every member of the legislature party will necessarily be a member of the political party. This is the. Now, coming to the role. Now, what is the question here? As Malad just put it, the batting order. Suppose there is a case of a split in the house in this particular case. But I am asking a case independent of any kind of, as a general principle of law, what is the role of election commission? Suppose there is a defection crisis in any assembly or parliament and the matter is sub judice either before the High Court or the Supreme Court. Does it stymie? Does it stop? Does it interdict the functioning of the election commission? Is a question which a lordship has to answer. And my humble submission is, when do we avoid parallel proceedings? We generally avoid parallel proceedings
when the jurisdiction is concurrent.
When the jurisdiction is concurrent, and typically there is a higher forum and a lower forum. And as a general group, the subordinate forum will be in the higher forum. So if a matter is pending in the High Court, say for example in a tax matter, and lordship gives a notice, then typically the officer will not proceed because he will await the decision of the High Court. So parallel proceedings come where the jurisdiction is concurrent, and there is a possibility of the possibility of two authorities coming to contradictory conclusions. The second point I would request the lordship to kindly consider: 10th schedule is legislature or member specific. Regulation 15, para 15 of the Symbol Order is party specific.
So the issue of disqualification would really relate to the membership of that house.
Of that house, that's what why not
a particular state
yes.
legislature, or if the case may be one
because yes,
parliament.
191(2) says you will be disqualified member of that house. It doesn't say anything about the political affiliation, political party membership.
Para 15 is really agnostic on
yes.
the legislature because
yes.
That is irrespective of whether there is or there is not any disqualification.
In fact, as I mentioned, that political party may not have any member of a particular house also, or it may have members. So what we are concerned is, now if the lordship sees the what I call the structure of a 10th schedule, first one is definition, 2 is the substantive, what is disqualification, 3 and 4 are exemptions to that disqualification, that is 1/3 member and merger. So 2 is the bar, the disqualification, 3 and 4 are exceptions. 5 is also an exception where it says that if you're a speaker, it's very unique for a speaker if he gives up his membership, then when he comes back, he doesn't get disqualified. 6 is the procedure, which came up for consideration in Kyoto Hall, and 7 are the rules. So if a lordship kindly says every para in the 10th schedule refers to the disqualification of a particular member. The lordship para 2A, for example. Here is a case where 2A of the 10th schedule. I'm trying to say, Manoj, that the fields are completely different. The territory is completely different, so to speak. My lord kindly comes to 2(1)(a). A person who has voluntarily given up his membership. Now, my lord, it is absolutely common sense that if a person is given up his sense, he's now going to file an application in clause 15 of the Symbols Order. People who come for the Symbols Order are saying, look, we are in this party, the rival group is in this party, please decide who's the real party. So 2(1)(a) will never apply. What is 2(1)(b)? You violate the whip. So the role of disqualification is basically a person who gets elected on a particular ticket, then leaves the party and comes to it, then you get disqualified.
The only point really, Mr. Datar, is that the issue of giving up the membership of a political party within the meaning of 2(1)(a)
yes,
is not confined to your activities within the house.
Yes. In my submission, Lord, I would submit that will partly depend on, because what I'm submitting is, if a
because voluntarily giving up the membership of a political party is not confined to what you do within the folds of the house. Unlike 2(1)(b), which is votes or abstains from voting in the house.
Yes.
But 2(1)(a) is much broader.
True.
Voluntarily gives up membership of a political
No,
party.
Lord, I'm sorry. I actually do
And
not
therefore, the speaker's power to determine that is not therefore confined to what takes place within the fold of the house.
Lordship will see there are case laws which say what is the meaning of voluntarily giving up membership? There are judgments which say if a particular member of party X has attended all the meetings of party Y, he has participated in the functions of party Y, then has he given up his party or not? So in some cases they said yes, it's amongst the giving up membership. But that's really outside the scope of this reference. That's why so when you say voluntary is right, that's why under clause 6, the speaker is called upon to say that Mr. X, he attended the rallies of this party. But the reported judgments are there, I can circulate them. He attended the rallies of this party. He attended the meetings of this party. He was seen in this particular party. The Supreme Court has said no, but his name is still continuing in the register of members. Therefore, he has not given up. In 2 cases, they said this itself indicates that he has given up his membership. So, is it a? I mean, it can be impliedly giving up also, physically actually giving up also. But what I'm submitting is.
But one thing is very clear that 21A as well as 21B is member specific.
Yeah, member specific.
15 is not in that sense member specific. It deals with a faction as to whether a particular faction represents a political party.
Now, Lordship will come.
It refers to a collective group as to whether that represents.
Yes. Now, Lordship will come. Yes. So, Manoj, what I'm submitting is, paragraph 15 basically refers to the collective right, the collective party. Who is the real party? And if your Lordship now comes to paragraph 15, which your Lordship saw a number of times, I will go through it again. And if Lordship has seen Sadiq Ali several times, I won't repeat it. But the first 2 paragraphs are very interesting. How did this problem straight away come about? Because Nijalingappa came to the Congress so, and Jagjeevan Ram was Congress. We've all gone through the controversy in those days, the Congress so, the Congress, etc. And then the argument was that the Congress who had majority in the Congress Working Committee. Lordship, can you just your broad outline of that case?
Sadiq Ali is of which year actually?
1975.
75.
But this took place in
1969.
Yes.
We were, so in that sense, Sadiq Ali was doing a bit of a postmortem on what happened.
No, but what happened was because Justice Khanna remarks in an abnormally prolix order. The prolix itself is abnormal, but his logic says abnormally prolix order of 437 pages. The Election Commission has drawn. There, what happened was, Lordship will just keep up just 2 points. Lordship will know. Sadiq Ali deals with 72 Supreme. Sorry, it's Sadiq Ali says 72 4 SCC 664. Sadiq Ali says the Election Commission went by 2 tests, and that Supreme Court approved. One was the test of majority. Test of majority, Parliament and individual houses. They took the strength of the Congress in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajaswa, in the individual houses, and they said that out of these number of MPs, X are in the Jagjeevan Ram faction. Y are in the Nijalingappa faction. They go statewide. But you want to see that, I can show that later. That's the way. Then they say, at the All India Congress Committee, Working Committee, where more than some 2,000 odd members were there, a large majority voted for this particular group. And therefore, the election came to the conclusion that the actual Congress was the Congress J and not the Congress O. And the court said nothing wrong with it because they have gone by test of majority in this. The point is not what they adopt. The point is, Election Commission is free to decide as to how it tests the majority. And by and large, what they're doing is, and I've got cases in my compilation. We had recently problems in Tamil Nadu where who was the correct member of the All India NRDMK. Hearings took place, matter came right up to the Supreme Court. And what the Election Commission they take a complaint, ask both parties to give their submissions, then evidence, affidavits, etc. are admitted, and then inquiry. Now, please see my notice under paragraph 15. I am humbly submitting that this notice has nothing to do with the election. Chapter. Lordship will kindly see out. Yeah, please see the page. Please see my notice page. No. The notice section 15 notice.
44, page 44.
Yeah. Lordship will see paragraph 40, page 44 of R4 compilation, volume 1. 22nd July 22.
Documents.
Yes. Document number 9. My lord is gone.
Document number 9.
What is it? What
It's
is
in the
it?
Sadiq Ali compilation.
No. It is the compilation of respondent number 4. Volume 1, respondent number 4, compilation of documents and rules. And this is document number 9.
Notice
Yes.
of 22nd.
22nd, your my lord is right. 22/7/2022.
Page number?
Page 44. So the pages are coming at the bottom.
Yeah. We have got total 118 page.
Yes. So Lordship will kindly see the notice is sent to both and then subject so and so. After the preamble, kindly come to para 2. The commission is in receipt of communications as delineated below. She is so and so member of parliament and secretary of party on 25/6/2022 intimated the commission about the alleged anti-party activities carried out by some of the MLAs under the leadership of so and so and objected to establishing any political party using the names Shiv Sena or Bala Sahib. Ani so and so forwarded 3 letters dated so and so. And so he gives a comment. Then Sri Ani so further email it an affidavit of so and so. Now kindly come to E. Sri Eknath Shinde on 19/7/22 filed a petition before the commission titled as so and so on the para 15 of the election symbols to declare the group led by Eknath Shinde as Shiv Sena and allot the party symbol of bow and arrow to the group. Eknath Shinde, the above petition, interior mentioned that. Then he goes on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now please come to para 3 at page 47. Now this is the standard format we file whenever we get a complaint. We say who has made the petition, what is the gist of this complaint, what is the other side. Please come to para 3. Para 15 of the election symbols and reservation allotment order 1960 provide that when the commission is satisfied on information, your lordship seen para 15, I won't read it again. On due consideration of the totality of information available on record with the commission as summarized above, the commission is of the opinion that there are 2 rival groups in Shiv Sena party, one led by Uddhavji Balasaheb Thackeray and the other led by Eknath Rao Sambhaji Shinde. Each group is now claiming to be the party and therefore the matter requires a substantive determination by the commission under para 15 of the election symbols. In order to place both the rival groups on even keel and to protect their rights and interests and going by the past precedents, the commission has directed the documents submitted by the rival group be exchanged and the reply and written submissions be invited from the 2 groups. The steps envisaged under para 15 proceedings prior to the hearing rival groups require both rival groups to submit the respective documentary evidence of the support claimed by them, the organizational and legislative wings of the parties. Accordingly, Commission has directed both the group to furnish written submissions and their respective documents to support their claims by 8th August 2020. But when the matter came up, I told the court that this is just the first step. There is no need to stop me. Let all the inquiry go on, inquire the matter. But then the court said, please furnish documents you asked for. Now, if your lordship sees the notice, it has got nothing to do with the membership of any person of the party or of any house. There is an MP or an MLA. Nothing. Secondly, my lord, by submitting this application by respective sites, none of the provisions of 10th schedule are attracted. Because 10th schedule disqualification is limited to 218, 21D. So my submission is, as somebody mentioned, para 15 is like the inner party democracy. Suppose as the party grows, there are bound to be groups, bound to be factions, and ultimately who claims superiority? There is no floor to test the house. So only way election can do is to get documents, get affidavits, listen to the parties, and then decide. Now, Lordship will just see how we have done it in one case from Tamil Nadu. I think that Anna DM.
I don't think we need to go into the issue.
No, what I'm saying is because Lordship will see number of advocates have appeared, numerous documents have been filed, hearing has been conducted. Yeah.
So, Data, you have already said so in your paragraph 3, the procedure to be followed by the election commission. You have already stated so.
Thank you, Mr.
That-
Datta.
So my humble submission is not only in this case, but as a general rule, my humble submission is whatever happens on the floor of any particular House of Parliament, that will be completely independent. It will not impact the function of the Election Commission in any case at all. Two things can happen. Either Lordship may allow the petition or dismiss the petition. The result of the paragraph 15 order will be completely independent of that. Whether a person is disqualified or not disqualified. He doesn't cease to be a member of the political party. And we have to go by the majority of the members of the political party, not of the legislature party. The impact of things will be on the legislature party, but not on the political.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Datta. Yes, Mr.
My judgment is right. These two, 10 schedule and para 15 operate in different silos. Then he's right. That's what your lordships have to decide. My lord made a very important and significant comment. A lot of these issues in respect of voluntarily giving up membership of the party doesn't happen in the House. You go to Gujarat, hobnob with the opposition. Then you go to Guwahati. From there, you are sending notices. Then you accompany the leadership of the BJP to the governor. All this is not within the House. All this is outside the House. And the Speaker will have to consider, for the purposes of coming to the conclusion, whether you are voluntarily giving up membership of the party, not the House. It is because of that you are disqualified in the House. Giving up membership of the party outside the House amounts to disqualification within the House. So you can't say one is different from the other. What happens in the House is unrelated to what happens outside the House. And the Election Commission can't say, I'm not concerned with any of that. Number two, Manoj, in paragraph 21B, if you vote against the whip, you will be disqualified not just under 21B, but also under 21A. Once you violate the whip, Manoj, not only have you expressed yourself that you are voting contrary to the whip, you are also saying, I'm no longer a member of your party, but I'm not bound by your whip. That's the constitutional position. With the greatest respect to my learned friends, Manoj, they are completely misled, Manoj, the decision of this court in Rajendra Singh Rana. Let me just give you a notice briefly what it was. Of the BSP. Joint hands with the Samajwadi. Now, there were 109 members of the House. The Speaker gave notice, nothing. He did nothing. After a few weeks, 24 more of them joined. So they became 37. Then the Speaker said, this 37 is 1/3. And because this 37 is 1/3, therefore they are protected under the 10th schedule, because at that time paragraph 3 was there. This court said no. You have to decide on the day when 13 members went to the Speaker. They were at that time not 1/3. The Speaker wrongly allowed 1/3 to develop to give protection to the 10th schedule under paragraph. Therefore, the disqualification relates back to the time when the 13 members of the Speaker. That's one part of it. My friend is completely wrong. That is unrelated to the issue of giving up membership of the House.
when paragraph 3 was, before it was deleted. Very interesting. It is integrally linked with the political party. Kindly see our compilation of statutes. Paragraph 3.
You can read it out, Mr. Sim.
Sorry. He says not given to the court. Sorry.
That's okay. And it's not in the footnotes. Otherwise, normally it's in the footnotes.
I'm also looking at the
This footnote doesn't have it actually.
I'm sorry. I mean,
No, that's all right. Just read it.
Where a member of a house makes a claim that he and any other members of his legislature party constitute the group representing a faction. And you see whether the correlation of this with paragraph 15, which has arisen as a result of a split in the original political party. It's 115 of their compilation. Have a look at that. Better with we did.
You can.
And such group consists of not less than 1/3 of the members of such legislature party. He shall not be disqualified. So what does it say? A member of a house who claims that he and any other members of his legislature party constitute the group
Companies of
36 and 37. You just read 37 because that's why I wasted time with it. This is 1074 SCC model I have. In their compilation is 192. Para 37. I'm reading 36 and 37. 192.
मॅडम साधन काय असतं तर ते असतं अॅन्युअल रिपोर्ट.
219, my lords. Plus 219, they are quoting Jagjeet Singh Miller's paragraph 69, the lords. My lord, just that's in italics. Not in italics, but in indents. My lords have that. Apart from the above, the acceptance of the contention that only a claim is to be made to satisfy the requirements of paragraph 3 can lead to absurd consequences, besides the elementary principle that whoever makes a claim has to establish. It will also mean that when a claim as to a split is made by a member before the speaker, so as to take benefit of paragraph 3, the speaker, without being satisfied even prima facie about the genuineness and bona fides of the claim, has to accept it. It will also mean that even by raising a frivolous claim of split of original political party, a member can be said to have satisfied the stipulation of paragraph 3. The acceptance of such a broad proposition would defeat the object of defection law, namely to deal with the evil of political defection sternly. We're of the view that for the purposes of paragraph 3, mere making of claim is not sufficient. Prima facie proof of such a split is necessary to be produced before the speaker so as to satisfy him when such split has taken place. This is contrary to what my learned friend argued, completely contrary. Now see 37. Thus, in the above decision, it has been clarified that it is not enough that a claim is made to have a split in the original political party, in addition to showing that 1/3 of the members of the legislative party have come out of the party, but it is necessary to prove it at least prima facie. Those who have left the party will have prima facie to show by relevant materials that there has been a split in the original political party. And my learned friend argued that no, in Rajendra Singh Rana, they have said the original political party is not concerned with the split in the legislature. It's just the contrary. The argument, therefore, that all of the 37 MLAs required to do so was to make a claim before the speaker that there has been a split in the original political party, and to show that 1/3 of the members of the legislative party have come out, and they need not produce any material in support of the split in the original political party, cannot be accepted. The argument that the ratio of the decision and Jagjeet Singh revised to be reconsidered does not appeal to us. Even going by Ravi Naik, it could not be said that the learned judges have held that a mere claim in that behalf is enough. Now, what's important here, and this is the significant part, having done away with paragraph 3,
Now consider the consequence. Now there is no question of majority minority. There is no question of 1/3, 2/3. You have to abide by the discipline, and the only defense is paragraph 4. To say, therefore, the whole argument is that I am 40 or I am 30 or I am 20 is neither here nor there. For the purposes of the 10th schedule, this is irrelevant. So what has happened is, I am the party, I am the Shiv Sena. I am recognized by the Speaker of the Shiv Sena. You are members of the original political party who are represented in the House. You have done an act contrary to, in collaboration with others belonging to the opposition party, done acts which amount to voluntarily giving up membership of that party. Now, if this is decided by the Speaker in these petitions, what will it relate back to? Relate back to what happened after 21st of June. Para 31 of this judgment clause. The act of disqualification occurs when a member voluntarily giving up his membership of the political party or at the point of defiance of the way wished to it. Therefore, the act that constitutes disqualification in terms of para 2 is the act of giving up or defiance of the whip. The fact that the decision in that regard may be taken in the case of voluntarily giving up by the Speaker at a subsequent point in time cannot and does not postpone the incurrence of disqualification by the act of the legislature. It will therefore relate back. Now, if it relates back to us, then it will relate back to what
असं होणारच नाही. राज्यभरातून टीका सुरू झाली.
What the Election Commission is seeking to do is to decide the status of the party, so-called party, on 19th of July. But what will happen on the 19th of July thereafter has nothing to do with what's happened before. Because what has happened before is that they have given up the membership of the party. Let's ask the question, a very important question that we threw him out of the post. But let's see our head. Volume 2. First, we'll show the letter to the Election Commission. Now let us kindly see the letter we wrote to Cindy on the 30th of June. It's much before 19 July. At page 321. Convenience compilation. Volume 2, page 321.
Yes.
Dear Mr. Shinde, you have been indulging in anti-party activities
and have also voluntarily given up membership of Shiv Sena. Therefore, in exercise of powers vested in me as the Shiv Sena Paksh Pramukh, I remove you from the post of Shiv Sena leader in the party organization. So, Malas, I tell him that you have already by your acts given up membership of the party. So it's not a question, Malas, of removing him from the post. Now see the letter we write to the commission at page 333. This is on the 1st of July.
Yes.
Second paragraph. As you are aware, Eknath Shinde has indulged in anti-party activities and has voluntarily given up
1488.
1488.
PDF.
As you are aware, Shri Eknath Shinde has indulged in anti-party activities and has voluntarily given up membership of Shiv Sena. Consequently, he was removed from the position of Shiv Sena leader in the party organization set up by Shiv Sena Paksh Pramukh Shri Uddhav Thackeray in terms of party. Just to mention that he was not an elected member in the party organization. He was nominated by the leader. Uddhav Thackeray is the president of the party from 1990 to 1923. I still remain the president of the party. Even now. Sorry, 2018 to 2023. As per the records of the election commission. So I remove him. He was a nominated member. I remove him. I tell the commission and I tell him that you have voluntarily given up membership of the party. So it is my case, Malas, that he is not even a primary member of the party. Not by virtue of the fact that I have thrown him out. By virtue of the fact that under the 10th schedule, he has committed acts in terms of which he is disqualified by virtue of 218. My learned friends are saying that this has nothing to do with the election commission. As a matter of constitutional law, how is that possible? In other words, the election commission will decide and will presume as a matter of law that he continues to be a member of the party. Whereas this, under the 10th schedule, by his acts, he is no longer a member of the party. So, Manas, how is that possible to say that no, these are two different cycles? Now, Manas, and therefore, Manas, I am saying because there is no defense now available under the 10th schedule at all as far as paragraph 3 is concerned or any other paragraph is concerned. The only defense available is merger. And in the context of merger, Manas, if your lordship looks at paragraph 4, just give me a minute. Very interesting. Should not be disqualified under subparagraph of paragraph 2, where the original political party merges with another political party. And he claims that he and any other members of the original political party have become members of some other political party. So, Manas, if he is a member of the Shiv Sena and Shiv Sena merges with somebody else, the stand of Shiv Sena is effaced. He is no longer Shiv Sena. So he merges with another party, or he has another party merge with him and he forms a new party. The new party or the merged party becomes his original political party. I hope I made myself clear.
Yeah.
So it becomes his original political party, so he's washed his hands off the Shiv Sena. That's the consequence of paragraph 4. then he can't maintain a petition under paragraph 15. Because he's either merged or he's found a new political party. And those who are left behind, that is, who are less than 1/3, because 2/3 makes others, those belong to the original political. In this case, Malad, us, of course, in the absence of a merger. So, therefore, the nomenclature of the original political party, which was attractive when they were first elected to the House, they've lost that in the paragraph. Now, see what my learned friend read. He said, please read the last part. For the purposes of subparagraph 1 of this paragraph, the merger of the original political party of a member of the House shall be deemed to have taken place if and only if not less than 2/3 of the members of the legislative party concerned have agreed to such merger. Naturally, because we are now talking about formation of a new party. Therefore, you are no longer the original political party. This will take a bit of time.
Mr. Sibal, you can conclude your argument.
No, you are in rejoinder council. No, that cannot be tit. No, that cannot be tit for tat that he has taken 2 hours.
All right, Mr. Sibal, you can deal with the judgments. You can tell us what the point of distinction, what we've been noting along is you go along and what the point of difference is.
I have no problem. I can finish it. Now, therefore, now let's come to paragraph D.
Paragraph D of
our Mr. my colleague Maninder Singh cited paragraph D of our petition.
Okay, the ground. Ground.
Ah, yes, the grounds. What your prayers.
What I was saying is there are certain judgments that have been cited that are wholly inapplicable. I just want to point out that there are 2 other judgments. It's all right. Read the whole paragraph.
No,
Let's read the whole paragraph.
Ground D of ground page 8, right?
Because and children. That's the point, Manu.
But that will be considered, Mr. Council, at the time when we consider the question of disqualification.
But if you lordship allow the election commission to go on and hold, and that's the point, Manu. Either your lordship says one has nothing to do with the other, and if your lordship is saying you will consider it at that time, that means that has something to do with the other. And I'm not saying I'm only saying, Miller. He says these are great repercussions because in this situation, then X number of people of a political party who are in power can be named away. Governor will give them votes, and we'll go to the election commission and say, "You declare us the simple Millers." And that's the consequence, which is sought to be prevented by taking away the third paragraph 3 of the 10th schedule. The whole purpose of taking away paragraph 3 is let's not have these splits. Then paragraph 36 minutes. Also read it half of it. I'll just read that minutes. Page 10 minutes. On the contents of paragraph 24 to 32 are denied. It is submitted that clearly claiming the support of a majority of SSLP cannot be looked at in isolation. If the delinquents were so keen on a change in party leadership, they ought to have approached the election commission in the very first place itself having committed a series of anti-party activities culminating in the blatant violation of Whip 3.7 as well as the 4.7, and having read the writing on the wall as to their imminent disqualification from membership of the assembly, the splinter group has now rushed to the election commission to claim that they are the real Shiv Sena. Well, this is what they did. They did it on the 19th of July, knowing full well that the writing is on the wall. Then, my learned friend cited two other judgments. But a Kerala judgment where there was no disqualification.
2021 4 K23, he said at page 50.
Well, then,
but he didn't read it out.
Let's see, Palani what does he cited?
Palani Swami.
Well, that is a pure issue of why the matter was pending before the commission. I myself argued it. The question is, who should the symbol go to, or should it be frozen? Interim symbol, which has nothing to do with the tension. Swami had nothing to do with the tension. Matter was pending before the commission. There were rival claims. And the question was, who should get in the interim symbol? What has that got to do with this issue? The third judgment my learned friend cited is the Kerala judgment. So by that, my colleague.
That Mr.
Jetmalani cited.
He didn't cite.
Para 4, Mother.
He really just gave us a citation.
He has no doubt.
No, he said that this is the first time the court has decided.
At page 51.
Yes, now, Mother, I just note para 6 of that judgment says, the learned single judge has also failed to appreciate the fact that even when the writ petitioners claim that rival groups exist in the party and their group is the party, no petition under the 10th schedule has been preferred. It's not a case of the 10th schedule at all. Para 6 at page 172, 3 mothers. Para 6.
At page 173.
Yes. It's not a case of any application also for disqualifications. Then he cited Kanhaiyalal Umar. Now, Kanhaiyalal Umar, brothers, it is a writ petition challenging the power of the commission under the symbol law. The violence of the symbol law. What has that got to do with disqualification? That's Kanhaiyalal. Then well as all party his leaders conference, brothers. That was a case. Election, the election commission is a tribunal for the purposes of 136 before 1985.
Yes.
Now let's kindly see what the notice of the commission is to us. Page 701. Compilation Brothers document, volume 2. Kindly see paragraph 4 on due consideration. This is their notice. You also have that? That is 701.
Got it. That is document number 9.
Yeah, on due consideration of the totality of information available on record to the Commission, as summarized above, the Commission is of the opinion that there are two rival groups in Shiv Sena. So he's already assumed that there are rival groups in Shiv Sena, when the whole question is whether these are part of Shiv Sena or not. One led by Uddhav Thackeray and the other led by Eknath Shinde. So you assume this, on what basis do you assume this? And each group is now claiming the party. That's not my thing. I am saying he's no longer in the party, he's voluntarily given up. How does on what basis does the election commission come to that? Assume that fact. Matters require substantive. Now see next paragraph. In order to place both the rival groups on even keel, but this is very strange. Both the rival groups on even keel. Where does he get that from? So what the election commission is doing is, I don't care what's happening under the 10th schedule. I'm not bothered what's happening under the 10th schedule. Even if you are deemed to be disqualified, even if you are voluntarily given up membership of the party, I will treat you on an even keel. I will assume you are still a member of the party. Whereas he can't, the election commission can't assume that. We have already written to the election commission that look, he is no longer a member of the party. He is voluntarily given up. So on what basis does he say not even keel? And to protect their rights and interests, and going by the past precedent, Commission has directed that the documents submitted by the rival group be exchanged and replied. Even then, then was interesting. The steps envisaged under paragraph 15, prior to hearing of two rival groups or others, if any, inter alia require both rival groups to submit their respective documentary evidence to support claimed by them in the organizational and legislative wings of the party. Now that's very important. So 3 elements in these notices, which according to me are completely contrary to the record. And they are aware of my letter, at paragraph 2, 2A. Sorry, 2B. Anil Desai by email forwarded 3 letters whereby it was mentioned that the following members have been judged in anti-party activities and have voluntarily given up membership of the party. Now, Commission can't decide that issue. So now let's go back to the last part, 702 that I was reading. Support claimed by them in organizational and legislative wings. Well, let's pause here for a minute. Just reflect on what happened. The 30th of June, they were all sitting outside. There was no organizational wing. They were in Guwahati. They were sending letters from Guwahati that I throw you out, I am the person, I am the chief whip. Gogavli is the chief whip. Your person. Where was the organization? There was no organization. There was no activity in the organization. Evidence of support claimed by them in the organization. There was no support claimed by them in the organization until the 30th of June. Even after that, there was no support. It only comes later. Secondly, on the legislative wing, your lordship knows that the judgment says that has to be considered. So if the legislative wing, according to us, all 40 of them, are deemed to be disqualified, well, how will the election commission consider it on an even keel by virtue of proceeding under paragraph 15? The very foundation of it is lacking. You are presuming a foundation which doesn't exist. You are presuming that they are members of the Shiv Sena where they are voluntarily resigned. I have informed you about it. And you say we treat it as an even keel. Now, nobody disputes whether a big argument is made about 324. Nobody disputes that power. Who disputes the plenary power of the Election Commission? Not I. We're talking about the interrelationship between proceedings under the 10th schedule and proceedings before the Election Commission to decide on symbols when one impacts the other. And the priority is whoever started proceedings first will be given priority in terms of decision making. If it is an afterthought, then after everything has happened and you have voluntarily given up membership of the party and thrown out an elected government, then you go to the Election Commission on the 19th of July and say, I am the party mother. Certainly the Election Commission can't get precedence. Now, as far as plenary power is concerned, and this is the last point I wish to make. Para 15 deals with an admitted position that we are all members of the same party. That's how Para 15 came into existence in 1968. There was no question of tension. There was no question of defection. And what used to happen, the history of litigation in this area would have shown that every faction used to throw out membership, members of the other faction. And obviously, Election Commission could not decide those issues. So they say, okay, let both factions come in, we'll see who has the support. But that the foundation of that went away the moment the 10th schedule came. Then the question of factions didn't arise. Then the question of disqualification came. The purpose being that those who are disqualified cannot get the symbol of the party. Because they have voluntarily given up membership of the party. Otherwise, why have that? Why we have 2-1 at all? It is only a question of the legislature. Argument was this all relates to the legislature, that relates to the party. But then why have 2-1 at all? So Para 15 presupposes legitimacy in the context of membership of the party and two factions arising out of legitimate membership claiming to be that party. That is Para 15. Para 15 doesn't allow the Election Commission to disregard what has happened under the 10th schedule. Because if it does, what will happen is, supposing your lordships decide in my favor, let's assume your lordship will decide in my favor ultimately in the petition, what will happen? They will say, we are the party. Now what's left in this matter? Can't turn the clock back. Election Commission has decided. So it makes my petition infectious. If however the lordship decide against me and say no, what happened was perfectly legal, in any case they will get the symbol. So they are not in any case prejudiced. Why is it that we want this to go on today? When your lordship can decide this matter in October. Here the matter decided. What is the great urgency today that this must go before the Election Commission so that the other freezes the symbol or gives it to somebody without having this matter decided, and then they say, look, my speaker is there, my speaker will decide. Well, how will the speaker decide? Because this court has said on the 29th of June that everything that has happened after 29th of June is subject to the orders of the court. They have glossed over. So how will the speaker decide that issue? And then the larger question is whether when they go to the deputy speaker that you are disqualified because we have moved a notice of removal against you, mother. The speaker said this hasn't come from any source at all. It has come from an email that I'm not even aware of. And it is rejected. And that fact is suppressed when they come to this court. And mothers, what's interesting is this court. I'm sorry, mothers, I'm taking time. I didn't want to take too much time for your lordship. Well, let's see what the order of the court is on the 27th. Then show me careful. Well, it says, meanwhile, as an intent, sorry, Yeah.
So what is the date of the order?
Date is the 27th of June.
PDF 2151.
2151.
Compilation of orders and pleadings is there in page C, Manas.
Thanks. Yeah.
Meanwhile, as an interim measure, because it's about a few paragraphs.
Yes, we've got that.
On
Yes.
page 3.
Meanwhile, as an interim measure, the time granted by the Deputy Speaker of the Assembly to the petitioners or other similarly placed members of the Legislative Assembly to submit their written submissions up to today by 5:30 is extended to 12/7/2022. Correct, Malak? Now see Kyoto Holo. Para 110. The argument is he gave us 2 days time. He gave us 2 days time. Natural justice. That's the argument. Therefore, this court extended. Now let's see the order. See Kyoto Holo. Para 110. Order is in the teeth of 5 the constitutional bench of this court. Then the government was offered. Then we came to court that look, the consequences of this is the government will topple. Then the judge said on 29th, but it is all subject to what we will decide. What does Kyoto say? I'll read it. No need for yours. In view of the limited scope of judicial review, it is available in para 6. And also having regard to the constitutional intentment of the status of the repository of the adjudicatory power, Speaker, Chairman, judicial review prior to the making of a decision by the Speaker, Chairman, and a legitimate action would not be permissible, nor would it be permissible at an interlocutory stage of the proceedings. Exception will, however, have to be made in respect of cases where disqualification or suspension is imposed during the pendency of the proceedings. And such disqualification or suspension is likely to have grave, immediate, and irreversible repercussions and consequences. There is no power to interdict the proceedings. It is only after the decision is taken that you can challenge it. That's the constitutional judgment. So where is the question of coming to court and saying you gave me only 2 days notice? Wait for the decision of the Speaker, you challenge it. The result was, because the court extended it for X number of days, the government offered. And then we came to court and said, we said, in fact, I remember I had told the court that this is what's going to happen tomorrow, which is simple, why do you worry? We have passed an order saying everything is subject. Now they are saying it doesn't matter. And what is this inner party democracy? I have not understood. Inner party democracy in the context of 10th schedule means what? That you can topple any government you want to topple by joining hands with the opposition. It has no difference. It makes no difference. Inner party democracy is in the context you are continuing to be a member of the party, not with anti-party activity, and air your grievances within the forum of the party. Inner party democracy doesn't mean that you violate the 10th schedule and say I have the right to violate it, and this is inner party democracy that's been given up. So this concept of inner party democracy by violating the 10th schedule, not going to the organization, staying in Ahmedabad and Guwahati, doing acts outside the house, and then going to the election commission on 19th of July when you've done what you had done and joined hands and formed government and will become a chief minister. And then you say that, look, as far as I am concerned, the election commission will now decide. But in fact, if this is the law, I think it bodes ill for the future of elected governments in this country. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Yes, Mr. Yes, Dr. Sangeet.
I'll give it in point form. What is the crux of the case? Or the nature of the phrase voluntarily giving up membership of the party. Whereas in actual practice, 90 if not 95% of acts or omissions coming under 21A relate to activities outside the house by the very nature. 3 examples out of hundreds. Going and was bashing the party or abusing it outside. Going to a rival party and accompanying them for a topic. Indeed, going to the governor with a rival faction. Now, all of these have nothing to do with what you are doing inside the house. Voting or not voting in a trust board, voting or not doing this, etc. A very important judgment of your lordships had occasion to consider it. I'm going to take only 5 minutes. Ravi Nayak. Before I cite it, out 1994, supplementary to SCC 641. Ravi Nayak was said that, and this is practical, no person comes and says, I have defected. While it's being given to your lordships, kindly appreciate the nuance of this clause. Nobody ever says, there is no case that says, I have done anti-party activities or I have defected.
He says speaker can infer.
The word is infer. The operative word on which Ravi Nayak is based is, it is inferred A and B by conduct. That's the heart of the principle. Just read para 11. Just that. Now, this I will read to save time from the middle. All of 11 is important, but just read that middle practice. Middle of para 11, my lord. The said paragraph provides for disqualification of a member, they are talking of 2 of a house belonging to a political party, if he has voluntarily given up his membership of such political party, unquote. The words voluntarily given up his membership are not synonymous with resignation and have a wider connotation. Now, kindly read this. This is what I am relying on, but it's coming now. A person may voluntarily give up his membership of a political party even though he has not tendered his resignation from the membership of that party. Even in the absence of a formal resignation from membership, and inference, the operative word, can be drawn from the conduct, that's the second operative word, conduct, of a member that he has voluntarily given up the membership of the political party to which he belongs. Now, fellas, if this is the law, then your lordships, fellas, has to consider, and not your lordships, fellas, the persona designata exclusively constitutionally entrusted with this power is one person, the speaker. That persona designata will have to consider no one else. Hey, Manus, what you did in Surat, what you did in Guwahati, what you did outside, good, bad, or indifferent, what you did with the governor, is directly Ravi Nayak. An inference can be drawn that you gave up. Now, if you gave up, then how do you operate clause 15 on the assumption that this is one faction of the party, this is another faction of the party? So, complete conceptual contradiction is my point number 1. And Melissa, that is what is happening. Point number 2, Melissa, your lordship may kindly read again to save time, I'll not read it. The 4th of August 22 order of this honorable court. The last 4 lines, and we all appeared in this, was based on a clear understanding at that time by that honorable bench that the election commission would not proceed. And the last 4 lines of that read like this. According to the learned senior counsel, that is Mr. Tata, it says so. The proceedings may take some time as voluminous evidence is usually submitted by the parties which must be considered by the EC. The learned senior counsel therefore states that no orders may need to be passed by this court interdicting proceedings before the election commission. In these circumstances, we grant liberty to the petitioner to file an application before the EC for seeking time. Such applications are filed 3 times. Time was given with consent. There is no formal order, no doubt, but this is endured from the 3rd week of July till today as we speak in October. September. That is point number 2. Point number 3 is what is the balance of convenience clearly endured for further 1 month. If this is endured already, it does not at all cause them irreversible. However, your lordships not protecting us causes us irreversible. That's point number 3. This point number 4. This ground of IA. lordships, because I don't think should be deterred by the form of an IA versus the substance of what we have. That's the simpler answer. But two more important answers in law. It would be, according to me, quite quaint if the lordship said that because an IA, the lordship can't decide this matter, it's outside the scope of the main matter. But there is two other answers, factually wrong. Number one, we find several writs, including what your lordship will call the all-encompassing writ, which is number 493 of 22 on 8th of July. Prior to that, your lordship has 4 other writs in which this order of subject to outcome has also been passed. Prior. Election Commission is a subsequent development. It's as simple as that. It's a subsequent development. My writ 493 covers almost all the issues we have argued. 1 week, 10 days after the 8th of July, when I filed the writ, on 19th of July, this election commission is initiated. I have filed an IA saying that this is a subsequent development. While your lordship is hearing the main matter, please defer it. Because is there something so startling and beyond jurisdiction, like a fundamental lack of jurisdiction, that your lordship fellows cannot touch it? Therefore, that is, well, I hope, not their best argument. Now, Willis, one other thing, and I'm done. There is 2 paras of Rana very important. One, my learned friend Mr. Kaur read para 25. He did not read para 27, which is the following para after one, which is very important. And the second para is 48. So these 2 paras I'll take 2 minutes on. My learned friend Mr. Kaur read the sentence to be very.
That's para 27 and 48. There's
Yes.
just one more. Let me
Mr.
go to grammar.
27 is the answer to 25. So that the context is placed in 27, which follows has to be read.
Just give a moment. Page 192, right?
Yes. So my learned friend read para 25 and he read this sentence actually, virtually the sentence alone. Para classical C. The power to recognize a separate group in Parliament or Assembly may rest with the Speaker on the basis of the rules of business of the House. But that is different from saying that the power is available to him under the 10th schedule to the Constitution, independent of a claim, independent of a claim being determined by him that a member or number of members had incurred disqualification by defection. That's a sentence Mr. Kaur read. Now, the sentence which connects this is para 27 page later, where it is viewed as a continuum, as a part and parcel, and it is a continuum of split, merger, and disqualification. All are interconnected and have to decide by the Speaker. Can you read that? This is para 27 from classical D for Delhi. In that context, the Speaker cannot say that he will first decide whether there has been a split or merger. There are 2 concepts there. As an authority, and thereafter decide the question whether disqualification has been incurred by the members by way of a judicial adjudication sitting as a tribunal. Next sentence is crucial. It is part and parcel of his jurisdiction as a tribunal while considering a claim for disqualification of a member or members to decide that, but also in the context of the 3 raised by those who are that they have not incurred split in the party or in view of a merger. It is part of one continuous process of the Speaker, who is a persona designated by the Constitution, no less. Now, while your worship is on this, just let me finish on 48 of the same judgment. Also, not be great. This is just 2 lines. This is just to correct, as one out of hundreds of examples, myriad examples which occur in 218 of voluntarily giving up. This case involved a very specific case. The act of giving a letter requesting the governor to call upon the leader of the other side to form a government itself would amount to an act of voluntarily giving up the membership to the party or to speak it to said members and party. It is because all over the press and repeated that they went on this case with the other faction to the other party to the all admitted documents, all was on the record to the governor, doing exactly what Rana records in Paragraph. My fifth point is that your lordship is cited. I want to make a general fifth point and then tell your lordship. I make bold to say, and I checked with Mr. Devdas Kawat, who is very meticulous of this subject. 10 times I've told him. Not one single case. I repeat, lordship recorded by submission. It's a rather broad thing, I don't want to make no mistake. Not one single case where the interaction and interplay between a disqualified or disqualifying pending matter in a symbols case. Not one case. I can't put it more widely than that, but I'm open to challenge on that. From that follows point number 6. One case is cited, which is that Omar, etc. 1985, 4 SCC 628. Just note the citation I have not taken off. Just note the difference. The only case cited is 1985, 4 SCC 628, where para 1 notes that this is a challenge to the constitutional validity. Number 1. Number 2. No issue arising in that case of disqualification. Now we have the 10th schedule. What was the 10th schedule in a descriptive manner saying now we have 10 schedules? That's para 10. That one para becomes the springboard, erroneously and wrongly, of citing that case, suggesting that there is an interaction between the symbols jurisdiction and disqualification. Nothing whatsoever. It's a completely inapplicable and irrelevant citation for this subject. Well, may I end by saying, after thanking a lot for giving us time, that if the party, if there is, why, should we kindly go back to the origin? Why did the 10th schedule use 2 broad words? Actually, this intra-house issue was the whip issue normally. Of course, it can apply beyond the house also. I'm not saying, but I'm saying that was the focus. They deliberately and consciously used a very much wider concept. That concept falls directly in this issue to be decided one way or the other by the primary persona designata, the speaker's jurisdiction. It may or may not be briefly decided later on, but because the primary direct custodian of 10th schedule is only one person. As a matter of fact, there are problems sometimes the speaker is disqualified. Then the persona designata, then you start doing hunting for a deputy speaker, which is strictly not legal. And then nobody there at all, then your lordship perhaps will interview. So therefore, your lordships will not short circuit this process. And no other procedure exists for deciding how to give a voluntary membership of party except what is here in 1A, which the speaker to his best ability decides. Today, in fact, your lordship is being asked to do 2 things by the other side. A, that this be decided first by the election commission. B,
what should be decided to this?
Decide it first is what your lordship is told. I will let the EC decide it first. B, is the nature of what is a political party minus them or with them will be decided first, and thereafter the nature of the party will decide by the state.
That's just one submission for lordship's kind consideration. Only on Kyoto Holo.
No, it cannot be, Mr. Then there should be a
Kyoto Holo. Mr. Rejoinder was stated. Just one second.
One sentence.
1 second. Kyoto Holo said that while a show cause notice by a speaker is issued, no judicial review will lie till a final decision is taken. And that's why they're saying we ought not to have come at the stage when a notice was given to us on the 27th and when the order was passed. We came relying on Navam Rebia, which said the speaker cannot proceed with the matter. A constitution bench of this court continue or proceed. So the issue was completely different, and their 32 is actually contrary to Kyoto because they are seeking this court to transfer all the jurisdiction of the speaker and decide it. And Mr. Sibbal presumes that we are disqualified and the EC today cannot be approached.
All right.
First issue.
Yes. We have heard Mr. Kapil Sibal and Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, then counsel appearing on behalf of the petitioners in support of the application for stay proceedings before the Election Commission. Mr. Neeraj Kishan Paul and Mr. Maninder Singh have appeared on behalf of the private contesting parties. Mr. Tushar Mehta, then Solicitor General, has appeared on behalf of the Governor. Mr. Arvind Dutta, then Senior Counsel, has appeared on behalf of the Election Commission. Next, having heard the. Sorry. Oh yes, Mr. J.
What's it forgot me?
I'm so sorry.
No. Quite forget.
No, not at all.
Apologies. Having heard the Learned Council, we direct that there shall be no stay of the proceedings before the Election Commission. The IA seeking stay shall accordingly stand dismissed.
Very grateful. Extremely grateful.
Is allowed.